What's up guys, DRJ here, and today I'm going to be giving you a first look at Deus Ex Human Revolution. Almost said Mass Effect 2. So a while back actually I did a review on The Witcher 2, and some people got pretty upset that I actually did a review before finishing the game all the way, and I understand that. I thought I actually made it a point to talk about game mechanics that weren't going to be changing and things like that, but understandably, your thoughts and impressions of the game do change. So what I'm going to do in order to make people happy, you guys talked, I listened. I want to give you guys a first look, which means I haven't played through all the game, but this is my first impressions, and then once I'm done with everything, I will give you guys the full review. I really wish I could be one of those people that gets one of those games like 2 or 3 weeks early so you guys can be hit with it upon release of the game. But alas, I'm not there yet, so we'll see maybe one day. So first off, this game has some pretty cool mechanics to it. It has some executions.
If you ask me, these riots
It has some hookers.
Right. Next time, sugar. You gonna show us what's under that coat or what?
It has dumpster smashing. And I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it has executions.
Intelligent? She just says what Picus tells her to.
So, what does this game do well? Okay, what does it do well? I mean, the story so far so good. Dialogue's pretty decent. I still think Mass Effect is sort of like the pinnacle of dialogue. It's really fun, it's engaging, it's pretty witty, clever, who doesn't love punching at reporters? It's definitely pretty close to Mass Effect so far. It's good. I like some of the options. You get chances to actively engage and sort of physically intercept people, just like you sort of did in Mass Effect 2. The combat is actually a lot of fun. I think the cover system might be a little bit too powerful at the moment. That's what I'm experiencing. You can blind fire, and if you're able to sort of channel them towards you and funnel them in, you can blind fire around a corner and just murder a lot of guys very quickly. So we'll see if that's maybe that's just something I'm experiencing now. Maybe they get explosive weapons later, I don't know. But definitely right now that's a very, very powerful mechanic. You can also go in and out of cover very quickly, and something you can't really do in Mass Effect. Anyway, so this has the kind of cover system that I wish Mass Effect did have because of its ease of use of getting in and out of. And it's a lot of fun. I actually find myself making use of it. One of the downsides to this combat system is sort of, you take a lot of damage, and so it's hard to know how much damage is going to be mitigated later on by sinking some points into those damage mitigation talent tree specs, basically. I think there's 3 or 4 points where you can do that. So we'll see how much that helps out, plus things like, taking away recoil, stuff like that, and stunning abilities, cloaking in and out. So we'll see. That stuff could all be huge game breakers later on, and only time will tell. Some of the other downsides, the searching mechanics. Gosh, I could do a whole friggin' down the rabbit hole video about this kind of stuff, and probably will sometime. But okay, realism does not necessarily equate to fun factor, and I don't know why developers haven't learned that yet. But searching every single body and searching through trash cans, toilets, lockers, things like that for items does not bring me more into the story. If anything, it does the exact opposite. It pulls me out. It reminds me that I'm there, gathering fucking all sorts of bullshit for God knows why. Like that's not fun. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to live the story, be part of the action. Put my footsteps in Adam Jensen's, and live in the world of Deus Ex. Sort of contrast that, say, like with Batman. One of the things Batman did so well is like it just brought you into that role of Batman, and you never left until you left the game. Especially when you start talking about like the hacking components, going back once again to Deus Ex, talking about the hacking components. It's so beneficial. There's so many different items and experience and things like that, and doors and areas you can unlock, that being forced, having the choice to basically sink a whole bunch of points into helping you out with hacking or leveling up your character isn't necessarily a choice that I love to make, because the hacking is so beneficial in so many ways, but the stuff that's fun and exciting is figuring out new ways to branch and grow with your character. I kind of wish the choice was more like, do you want to go range, or do you want to go close, do you want to go sneaking, do you want to go guns? But instead, you know, like there's a minimum of like 4 or 5 points you have to sink into hacking if you even want to attempt the different doors and things like that out there. Like there's 5 different levels. You start off at level 1, but you have to sink those points just to even have a chance at unlocking any of those doors, or like I said, other areas. So that's a little frustrating to me. I also noticed that, like, as my playthrough has gone on, looking back at some of the footage, like there are just so many things to hack. There are so many things to search. You could easily be consumed by this, and at the time when you do finish the game, you could easily have spent more time searching and things like that probably than you did playing the game, which is really interesting because the devs actually commented on this specifically and said that originally when they had played through the game, weapons and ammo and things like that were more plentiful than they were now, and they said they purposely decreased those, and then the fun factor went up. So I'm all for, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that, you know, unlocking weapons and things like that as you go through the game is great, but constantly scrounging and searching for ammo in the way that they have it is simply not enjoyable. You know, I think it works in a sort of a survival horror game like, say, Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, and they made it work so well in that game. At no point did I feel like I was leaving the story. Like, you constantly have to make like these value calls. Do you go search that abandoned hut over there? Like, can you really afford to get hit by another zombie because, you know, you're running out of herbs or whatever it is, and you only have 3 rounds of pistol ammo? And they just made that so much fun. They did it so well. They managed to incorporate that into being part of the game, and I just don't feel like that has necessarily happened in this game. My last issue is basically the mouse. So anytime you have a console port, tends to be mouse issues. Mass Effect 2 is the last one I played where it's not terrible, but it just doesn't feel smooth. It doesn't feel like the mouse is a part of me, whereas it does when I play, you know, games that were made for PC. Like, you go in there, you adjust your sensitivity. It's either too fast or too slow, and you figure out what works. And I'm not really too picky about it, to be honest. As long as it's in the general ballpark, I'm fine with it. But it's like it has this lagging sensation, like it's getting caught up on something. And then when you go to adjust the sensitivity level, you can adjust like the X and Y values independently. I've never known anyone in my entire career of gaming who's asked to like be able to adjust X and Y levels independently. That might be the case if you're playing like a flight sim, but why the fuck you would ever want to do that in a first-person shooter is beyond me. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But overall, I'm really enjoying my experience. I think the devs, like I said, did make some common issues that really haven't been solved, that have been around since the day the sort of game started coming out, FPSs in general. But so far, it's a lot of fun, and you know, you guys make sure to check out that playthrough and let me know what you think.